I mean, certainly a funny story, okay, because it has to do with this gentleman right here, Mr. Corky Lynch. I get an email one day out of the blue. I mean, I have never met Ed Ryder in my life, and he starts asking me questions about, hey, do you have any, we're having a get-together, guys from the 80s. Do you have any pictures of Corky Lynch that you could send me? So I'm like, whoa, okay, I got to go back and look. I mean, obviously we had pictures from when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I was just trying to find some other ones that I could send to Ed. Well, unbeknownst to Ed, because Tracy Ranieri is the one who makes the phone calls for the Hall of Fame inductees, I already knew he was in the Hall of Fame.
You dirty rat.
So it was just strange that the connection between, here's a random email,
Right.
and then now we get to honor him as a Hall of Famer. So for me, that's going to be my story of Ed Ryder. So
Drive safe, everybody.
yeah. Ed, why don't you, again, during that early days of men's lacrosse, and in that mid-'80s, I know you talked about a bunch of the players, your teammates on those teams. Can you just talk about that experience and trying to help a program grow?
Well, obviously the well is running dry for me to be up here. I guess we're out of great athletes. Because you're looking at the most undeserving member of this Hall of Fame, without a doubt. But I wear proudly the mantle that I represent an era that has almost been forgotten. I was telling Tracy yesterday, we really see ourselves as the DNA for what would become this program. It was still very much kind of a club feel, kind of a team, and I think we caught magic in a bottle in the graduating classes of 86, 87, 88, and 89 for that matter, of guys who wanted to go on to become coaches. Maybe we knew it, maybe we didn't know it, and now we have, I think we're over 500 college wins as coaches, an equally high number of high school and like youth and travel team wins. One of our number is a 3-time National Coach of the Year, national champion, and at the time we were just kids. And as I mentioned to you today, we would give, we'd be frustrated. Come on, Corky, tell us what to do. Give us more, tell us what. And we look back as adults, what he did is he gave us space to become coaches. And we didn't know that then, but now we look back with a little bit of experience and maturity and like, holy moly, look what this guy provided for us. He was a gardener who created this garden for us to then become who we are now. And I'll never be able to thank him for that.
And so you've coached some various sports. I mean, why don't you tell us the story how you get into coaching, because now you're a teacher and a coach yourself.
Yeah, I'm on the back nine, as they say. I have to admit, I was a bit of a brass ring guy, and that would be my advice to the student athletes. Slow down. Don't be in a rush to get to that next level. Enjoy where you are. Be moving forward, but don't be in a hurry to get there, because you're at a prime time in your life. So I was going to be, a college basketball coach or a college lacrosse coach. Thanks to Don Flewelling, I was able to get into basketball, and it was just a matter of what my first break would be. And it came in basketball, and before you know it, that's the direction that I went. But all the while, I look back, and you guys want to stand up? Would you mind, teammates? Arise if you don't mind. Come on, Rosie, come on. Mike, come on, boys. Now, is that the men's team over there? Lacrosse players, rise. Let me see where you are. You are family. We're brothers right there. And I hope we see the theme that went down this stage was this camaraderie, this chemistry. We had our alumni game yesterday, and we started 10 players over 50 years old. We went against the young guys. There's no catalog. When I was a college recruiter, I used to say things like, a school is not a bunch of buildings, it's the people. Partly because I was at schools that had bad facilities, so that's what you say, right? And the people here are what's going to make it great. And it's got to be organic and it's got to be natural, but there are things you can do to nurture that. My children don't know the names of any of my teammates because they're Danimal, they're Bobo, they're Looper, they're Tin Man, you know what I mean? Nobody had a name. Everybody had some sort of nickname. Sandwich is my savior. Sandwich is 10 times the player I was. And you know what he did? He fed me the ball. And so now I'm throwing the ball in the back of the net, and now my name is on your stat sheet, but he's the guy that made it possible. And that's the kind of stuff that is just, you can't buy that anywhere. The camaraderie, I mean, you heard it. Every person up here echoed it. And I'm sure the previous 19 ceremonies have been the same way. It's all about the team. The we is greater than the me part. it's forever.
And do you feel that that is carried on to what you're doing now professionally,
100%.
mentoring?
Oh,
role
100%.
models?
I started as a freshman basketball coach, senior year in college. Corky hooked me up with Flu to become a student assistant. Flu would run a practice from 4 to 6 p.m. with the varsity, and then from the freshmen would come in. I would do the exact same practice plan, saying the same words, the same vocabulary he did. And before you know it, it's like children, right? In their development, they mimic, and then they develop their own style. And that's what he did. You mimic the people that you were around. I still do a crazy tag game that he used to do for us for fitness called the Blob, where you tag somebody, grab somebody. It was a group tag game. My players at my high school in Queens, they know the Blob. Every sport I do, we do the Blob. And it started with him.
So now, some of those lessons that you've learned, obviously now you were on the cutting edge of some things as far as international travel. You were involved in a organization that now, teams get together and they travel internationally.
Yeah, well, now it's more of a like a for-profit industry, but I was in a nonprofit organization called People to People International, created by President Eisenhower in 1956. And the idea is creature of the Cold War, promote international friendship and goodwill through people-to-people exchanges. Yeah. I was the director of the sports program, so we would send teams. Don Flelling, for example, assembled a team of softball players from Oneonta, Binghamton, and Cortland. We put a red, white, and blue uniform on them, called them Team America, and they went to Australia. And they have these life-changing trips that are just amazing. Two friends here who are St. Rose alumni, but in town for a wedding. They, as players, went to Spain representing St. Rose, but also representing the United States. And those are life-changing moments. There's nothing that can impact you. There's no textbook. There's no video until you're on the ground and you meet the people and you're there where they are. It was, and to travel the world for over 10 years on someone else's dime, that was pretty good too.
Is there anybody that you would like to thank?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
No.
I didn't think so. I thought there'd be
obviously every teammate that came up for this. How many groups of 50-year-olds still go back to their alma mater and go out on that beautiful field? The future players, you're our future brothers. We look forward to having you on our side. But Corky, for Pete's sakes, Flu, oh my word. But I'd be remiss if I don't especially acknowledge I can't even know, this is the crying part, right? My wife. Oneonta gave me a lot of things, but nothing more important than a beautiful woman from Astoria, Queens, that understood sports, that understood me, and didn't kick me out. So that was pretty good. Right? So, love you, honey.
Well, congratulations.